morning. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at your Colorado weather forecast, which is going to have a whole lot of everything as we head over the next few days. Start things out by taking a look at, well, some reasonably tranquil conditions for us here in Denver and along the Front Range here on this Monday morning. We're in the 60s. We'll get up to about 70 degrees here in Denver. Notice those winds, though, those will kind of kick on up as we get later on through the day. We're already at 15 miles an hour. You'll probably notice that breeze getting a little bit stronger as we head through the remainder of your day today. So as I mentioned, though, this is just the kind of precipice of what's going to be a very, very busy pattern for us here in Colorado. And it's not just here on your Tuesday and your Wednesday. It's later on this week. Another system moves its way on through. So for tonight, we'll start to see some of those big changes working their way into western Colorado. And that'll lead to some very significant impacts for our friends in the mountains. Here in Denver, lesser impacts. We'll get maybe a little bit of rain. Fingers crossed, we certainly need that. But a more significant system for Denver could arrive on Thursday and Friday. Let's start things out, though, by taking a look at system number one. This is the one that's leading to perhaps as much as 2 to 3 feet worth of snow for areas north of us into Montana and Wyoming. The bulk of the system stays up to our north, but here into Colorado, we'll see that system start to swing its way on through later on this evening, starting to see some clouds work their way into northwestern Colorado. That'll bring down those temperatures currently in the 30s and 40s in the mountains out ahead of that system, 60s for us along the eastern plains. We're getting those downsloping, those warming winds. The air compresses, it warms as it moves down off the mountains. That's why we're seeing such a drastic difference in temperatures between the mountains and us here along the urban corridor. Meantime, as we get into the mountains, 4 to 8 inches worth of snowfall above 9,000 feet for us as we get later on through your day tomorrow, and also a winter storm warning for us in the eastern San Juan Mountains. This would be above 10,000 feet, where up to a foot of snow is likely. That will include Wolf Creek Pass along Highway 160 there, and of course the ski resort as well there in through southern Colorado. Then to just kind of add a little bit to this, as I mentioned, we're getting a little bit of everything for your day tomorrow. We could be talking about some stronger storms from Fort Morgan, Lyman on east and north. We're going to be kind of on the tail end of a stronger system, and that could lead to some severe weather. And then just kind of throw this on top of that, there's a fire weather watch for wind gusts that could howl as high as 50 miles an hour in southeastern Colorado. And it's going to be very dry as well and fairly mild for your Tuesday. And you might remember that just the northeast Colorado Springs, we had a wildfire that developed back on Friday. So yes, I know it's a little bit cooler now, but yes, we can still get wildfires this time of year. So higher fire danger for your day tomorrow in southeastern parts of Colorado. As we get later on through into your day tomorrow, we do have some rain and snow that will start to spin its way on in from the west. Those winter weather alerts go into effect at midnight tonight, so you'll start to see some of that snow first developing in the San Juans. That will then spin its way north and then east. Lower elevations like Grand Junction, we'll be looking at rain, but you get up about 9,000 feet or so, and that's where you start seeing that snow work its way into the picture, and those snow levels will drop as we get later on through the afternoon into the evening time frame. So quick look there at what we could be expecting. And then as we get into tonight, we will start to see those temperatures drop for us here into the Denver area, with those temperatures again down about 40 degrees for us. Winds southeast about 5 to 15 miles an hour. As mentioned, we get that rain snow working its way into western Colorado for the overnight time period. Then as we get into tomorrow, kind of skipping ahead here to tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, notice how we're seeing a lot more blue, and that's because those snow levels do start to drop as we get our system swing its way on through. That will drag in some colder air, and as a result, again, we will drop those snow levels to about 7,000 feet into the mountains. So that means the mountain towns, Aspen, Idaho Springs, Frisco, Silverthorne, maybe even as low as Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs is a little below 6,000 feet, so maybe not for you, but Steamboat Springs, again, the towns will see their first significant accumulations likely of the season. But don't want to overlook this as well. In addition to the snow, we'll see those winds really increase as we head through the day. We'll see those winds coming out of the south at first, but watch, I should say, let's actually go back to this here for a quick second. Notice there into far eastern Colorado, some of those gusts getting into the 40 to 50 mile an hour range. That's why there's a higher possibility for fire weather issues out in that part of the state. And then to southwestern Colorado, we're also looking at some of those stronger winds into the San Juan. So for tomorrow in Denver, we're increasing those clouds. Afternoon showers do develop, high of about 63 degrees. And again, we'll see some showers around, but for us in Denver, we're not looking at any snow for us, even into the foothills. Looks pretty unlikely for your day tomorrow. I know we were talking about that through the weekend and last week. The system's moving a bit too far north. It's kind of trended north, and as a result of that, Denver, we're going to stay we're going to get mostly drier weather out of this. We're going to get what's in meteorological speak termed as dry slotted, but we're going to get the dry quadrant of the storm here. So we'll get a few showers out of it, and that's about all we'll see here in Denver. We're also going to get a bit more of a southerly pull of winds. That's why it looks like we're going to be looking, at least from this storm, a little bit on the drier side and also on the warmer side. So no snow, at least not yet, but you get into the mountains. Look at that high in Leadville, just 35, 42 for our friends in Vail, and 40 in Winter Park. So significantly colder in the mountains and significantly warmer along the Front Range. Now, if you are looking for snow, and by the way, Denver's average first measurable snowfall date is 1 week from today. It's on October the 18th. Well, we could be seeing some of that Thursday night and Friday morning. Looks fairly interesting and increasingly interesting for us here along the Front Range. So if you are looking for that snow, again, you probably won't have to wait too much longer. If you've been in Colorado for a longer period of time, you probably know that this is around the time of year we typically see that first snow, and it looks like Thursday night and Friday morning could be that, and we could see some accumulations here into the urban corridor. Give us a few days, though. We're still kind of ironing out the details about that, but here's a look at that 7-day forecast where it does look like we'll warm back up for next weekend. Until then, it's fairly cold. And another takeaway, and this is important, is that we will be looking at our first freeze of the season quite likely as we get later on through the week and the weekend. Now, that snow forecast for us here in the mountains, significant snow and strong winds. It looks like the San Juans and the northern mountains will get a pretty good snow out of this one with 4 to 8 inches of snow, as I mentioned, likely throughout most of our mountains, and then maybe a bit more than that into the San Juans. And then as we get into Thursday and Friday for us here into Denver, we could be talking about some snow, but it doesn't look like at this point it'll be all that big of a deal. So hopefully it's giving you a pretty good idea about what we can expect here as we head through the next few days. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch for a detailed look at a very active Colorado weather forecast. I'll also have an update on 9 News at noon as well. And thanks again for joining us. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi.